여보세요. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. NMIXX, Love Me Like This. I have seen the challenge. Everybody was doing that one recently. And it's an interesting hook, right? Like it's an interesting sort of a chorus section. And so I was curious about the rest of the song. The only, because I think we only did the OO song. And NMIXX has an interesting concept too. Just the type of elements that they try to combine together, like to, as a group. So it's different. It's interesting, right? But I definitely want to see what the rest of this song sounds like. So let's check out Love Me Like This.
Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. 뛰는 심장 소리를 따라가 커지는 울림, oh my god, oh yeah. Let me hear you say yeah. 숨겨놨던 맘속 deeply 꺼내 펼쳐봐 느껴지는 feels, oh yeah. Don't run away, yeah. 절로 만난 널 예쁜 꽃이 피워봐 사막 속에 빛이 내려봐. If you wanna be my lover, 닫힌 맘을 닫게 들여. If you wanna your way. 어느 틈에 자라난 이끌림 점을 이어. Oh baby, love so fire, words 외쳐 higher. 눈을 맞춰. It's so easy, you just gotta love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Oh, 큰 파도가 시작될 걸. Buckle up, ready, set, go. 이 감정의 퍽을 explode. 조금 더 거침없이 바다의 fever. 그 순간 가슴 속에 넘쳐난 flower. 미움 트고 있던 숨 고장난 내 맘속에 blue. Show me way. 어느 틈에 연결된 비서 선을 따라가 baby. Wanting fireworks lighting higher hopes. 손을 뻗어. It's so easy, you just gotta love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Can you see the paradise? 감각들을 깨워봐. 끝내 찾은 missing piece. 심장 속을 밝힌 peace. 나를 향해 겹친 love. 결국 너를 향한 love. 너와 내 꿈이 이어져 커져갈 time. Love me like this, love me like that, 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 love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love you right back.
So, like back when we did the OO song, that was like they had a very strong contrast in the styles. Like some of the sections, the transitions in between the styles, it was so dramatic, like so striking. And it's cool. It's like, but it was done in a way that it was a little less consonant, almost like the song had these individual movements. you know, but I still enjoyed it. Like I got it. I could wrap my head around it. So I'm like, okay, this is it's much more streamlined. It's much more like it has a definite feel. You know, that hook that it keeps coming back to, but it's consistent throughout all of its sections. It's got a fantastic bridge section too. Most of the clips that I've seen, a little shorts and stuff about the from the challenge, essentially, right? I was first. I guess I was mainly hearing like a lot of the percussion for those videos, and so I thought it was a much more up tempo song. You know, like it felt like, and also with the choreography, like it felt like it was moving much faster. But really, it's a nice laid back tempo. You know, it has much more of a R&B type of flavor to it, especially I think it's pre-chorus. Like yeah, it just I was like, oh, okay, this is like smooth. It's like incredibly smooth, man. It's the percussion is light but snappy, like it's not too punchy. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's a little R&B and a little bit of hip hop too. There's really cool syncopations with some of the percussion that's going on. The stuff that's, you know, higher than the kick. It's a 16th note rhythms, but they're so syncopated. You know, it'd be anaphorianda, like anatuianda. It's not coming in on the downbeats. It's coming in just before on the upbeats, and then it's also giving you the 16th note in between. So it's these little groupings of percussive hits that come, you know, in between the beats, and it's really fun actually, and it kind of really goes. That's the rhythmically, that's what matches up with that choreography part, you know. The bass though, it was really fun. I like when I think it's what is it? I think it might be the end of the chorus, right? As it's moving out of chorus into the back to the verse, and you start to get that rising sort of walking progression. It's in the bass. It's a synth bass, and it's going bum 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 bum, like these little half step ascending line, right? And it's really fun. It's really cool, and it's such a gritty synth. At first, I thought it was a guitar. At first, I thought somebody was playing power chords like bam, bam, which you could do. Like if you had a band to go ahead and play the track, you know what I mean? And like that'd be cool. That transitions very well to, or transposes very well to a guitar sound. But it's actually a synth bass. And it's really good. There's like a seventh in there because it goes up so high, like and then boom, and it's a great little sort of ascending line on the chords there, and the bridge section. The bridge section was really stood out. There's some great vocals going on. The lines in the bridge section are really outstanding. So quite colorful stuff in the vocals overall. Again, shifting rhythms, right, depending on what section you're at. But it's a fun song. But it's a lot more laid back than I thought it was, and then it's also much smoother, much more of that R&B type of a feel to it. But it's cool. It's cool.
Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back.
Interesting on the vocal right there, just the intro vocal, right? There's a lot of reverb on it. It's definitely EQ'd with some of the mids are raised there a little bit, or you have like the lows and the highs kind of cut a little bit. but the mids really stand out. It gives it more airiness. Like, it's cool. It's a cool space.
뛰는 심장 소리를 따라가 거지는 울림 oh my god oh yeah let me hear you say yeah 숨겨놨던 맘속 깊이 꺼내가져봐 느껴지는 feels oh yeah.
So writing the eighth note subdivision pretty closely. They're kind of like leaning in on the beat a little bit, but definitely you got the eighth notes, and then the percussion. You've already got that syncopated 16th note rhythm that's going on. So it's a nice 808 too, right? The 808 and your kick together. Just another one of those like bouncy, fun poppy kinds of bass sounds. There we go. 16th note. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, right? 16th note. Rhythmic shift. Oh. So there was a lot of like, you know, it'd be 1, what is it? 1 and 3. It's either the ands leading into the next beat, or it's the uhs, a 2, a 4. But there's a little bit of syncopation there, and then it shifts back into the eighth note subdivisions. A lot of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the bass got really huge, right? It was pre-chorus section, and I think that synth bass is about to come, like, walking in here. Oh, at the end of this, okay.
Love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this,
there it is.
love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back.
That last one, like it's a 7th, right? It's creating such dissonance, like really building up to a strong resolve. And the percussion, they brought in some sort of almost like a bell sound, you know, cowbell. Now I'm not sure if it was cowbell or not, but it was definitely something that had a fixed type of pitch on it. Just adding a little bit of color, actually, because it's kind of it's very snappy, right? So it's like snappy, poppy, and then once you get that pitched percussion part that comes in, starts to give it a little bit of its own color, like in the percussion section. But that ascending synth bass, walking up the chords there is really fun, man. That's really cool. It's like it becomes really dark all of a sudden, especially because it's sort of like half notes, like half steps. You know, it's going by 2, right? It gets like, oh, like real gritty, real dark. It's like a little bit of tension, but it fits so well. It's like that's such a strong synth sound. It's actually interesting how it fits so well. The pre-chorus section too, the way that the bass really expands here, and then they start singing with much more harmonization, right? The verse sections almost sing rapping, that kind of style, you know, like hip hoppy, you know, because the rhythms are so quick. You don't have these big sustained notes, these legato type of running lines. But once we get to this pre-chorus section, the bass expands and becomes so wide underneath everything in the mix. And then they're also sort of stepping up in their registers a little bit. and there's some vocal harmonization that's going on. There's some background vocals, these other lines that are going on at the same time, and it starts to create a very like flowy, kind of silky kind of texture to it. It's really nice. Before we go into this real like snappy, poppy kind of chorus section.
연결된 네 손을 따라가 baby Won't you find your words curtain higher hopes 손을 뻗어 It's so easy you just gotta love me like this love me like that love me like this love me like that love me like this love me like that love me like this and I love it right back love me like this love me like that love me like this love me like that love me like this love me like that love me like this and I love it right back Can you see the paradise 광고들을 깨워봐 끝내 찾은 missing piece 심장 속을 밝힌 piece 나를
Oh yeah, so the transition, that descending line, that synth bass that is so dark, right? It's so kind of gritty, and it creates all that tension, and then it's a really nice transition when it goes into this bridge section, right? Because you feel a very like satisfying resolve, right, when it comes into this section. And again, the bass kind of expands a little bit under this, and you still have more of those backing vocals, that are harmonizing left and right. They're panned both left and right, some different parts, and they're outlining the chords as the rap lines are going over it. It's just nice, right? Because the tension of that synth bass sequence that's just kind of walking up feels like it's pulling everything in, and then not only does this expand it back out, but the airiness of the vocals and the way that the rap line is centered, like kind of sits in the middle, it's expanded the space of everything, so everything feels much roomier, right? You get the satisfying, comfortable resolve into the section, and all of a sudden you have like a lot of space all around it. It's a very nice bridge.
강력해진 love 결국 너를 향한 love 너와
These lines are
꿈이 이어져 커져 그 Love me like
nice.
this, love me
Really,
like
really
that,
nice.
love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love it right back. Love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, love me like that, love me like this, and I love you right back.
Good, man. Good, man. They sound good, man. The vocals, they sound incredibly good, man. Especially in that bridge section. Just the rhythms and the rap parts they're great. They're really, really great. But once they start singing, man, once they start pulling in from that chest voice and really pushing everything up, it just man, it sounds good. Such a nice shape to the sound that they're producing, and it's just really good, man. It's really good. They get kind of soulful, especially the way those the notes is kind of bent there at the end. But this would be really awesome. Do a live version, with a band. That sequence that occurs in the chorus, that was like almost made to be transposed onto a guitar. Like it fits so well. Like outline of power chords moving up by each fret. Just it's perfect for it. Like it makes so much sense. That would be really, really fun. But yeah, it's a totally catchy song. The that snappy percussion with its syncopated rhythms, and the four yanda, and a two yanda, and a four yanda, tick tack tick, tick tack tick, like that is a hook itself. The ascending synth bass line there in the chorus is another. That's like a hook that's all buried into the hook of the chorus, that the sort of main hook, right? That bridge section, that's another, especially towards the end, like those very powerful lines, the strong vocal lines at the end of that bridge section. Yeah, it's really nice, and it's so much it's like smoother, right? Like I said, it's so much more streamlined overall. Like this song, and it really did a fantastic job of maybe having a little bit more of the contrast between the low end and the high end of what's going on over the duration of a section, a verse section, a chorus section, or pre-chorus, versus having it hard on the vertical of like, okay, from the way this section and then a chorus, and then it's like a complete shift into a different style and different feel, going into the next verse or into a bridge or something. This really sort of maintains its shape and its space and everything throughout, and that's what makes it incredibly enjoyable, right? Because you really get to just sort of get into the feel of the song, get into its groove, right? Its vibe. And so yeah, this was it's interesting. It's interesting. I know there's plenty more stuff to check out from NMIXX, but it's a very nice, consistent like sound for them to sort of develop into or lean into, and especially because they could do it so well. It's really, really good, man. It's really good. The vocals in this were fantastic. And of course, it's a JYP mix, you know what I mean? Like the everything else that's going on as far as the composition and the production. That bass is like, it's starting to really sound like JYP bass, you know what I mean? Like this every time. It's a very, very strong and very carefully handled part of like all of these mixes, and so that's starting to become something I associate with JYP groups and the sort of sound that they produce. But it's a fun one, man. It's a fun one. It's and it's got the choreo is fun. It's just because it's because I saw all of the challenge videos that everybody was posting and stuff, and so it's a fun dance to accompany a really good, solid, laid back type of song. It's so that, like, it tricked me because I thought it was much more upbeat than it is. It's not like it's too slow. It's not like it's a ballad or something, but it's quite a laid back R&B flavored type of track. The snappiness and the punchiness of the percussion is kind of what gives it its rhythmic feel, right? And it's the rhythm that dance or choreography part really sort of is informed by. It's the part that it lines up with the best. But it's cool. It's cool, man. I think I've got to check out some more, just some more from the group, just to kind of round out the familiarity, the understanding of the sound and the styles, and then of course, like my picture here is still the entire group, you know what I mean? I just, that's the way I saw them first, and I always like to keep, if I can find the picture that has all the group members in it, that's always, everybody understands though, and good luck to Jenny. I hope she does well with her movement into her next solo work, or whatever it is that she's going to do, you know what I mean? I'm sure she'll have a lot of success. But this was fun, man. This was fun. It's definitely a cool track by NMIXX. Love Me Like This. Yeah, it was fun. It was another fun JYP type of track.